Hey, welcome to day 24. My name is Tammy. I'm your mentor and guide on this 31 day of essential oils journey. If you're new and just tuning in, welcome. There's quite a bit of information here as well as over on synergessence.com, the 31 days of essential oils tab, where here I talk about oils in the way that I've used them. This comes to you with 30 years of background. I talk about the way I've used them, the way I've modified the use, kind of challenge some of the thought processes out there because, well, the fact is that there's a lot of information about the oils, but it's not necessarily to our advantage. And I've kind of, especially writing these blog posts, I'm getting very technical in them, although I'm trying to keep them as understandable as possible in order to emphasize a point. So, um, I do not rep a company. I am an independent researcher, and as I mentioned, I talk about a lot here how I've used oils and the way I've modified their use based on medications, what the individual is presenting with, and so forth. That said, over on the blog, it does get far more technical, and so there's generally not a duplication of information. For those of you that have been with me along this way, just know I really appreciate you. I appreciate the comments, the feedback, um, the acknowledgement. It really means a lot to me because this is just something that really touches my heart and soul, and I'm very happy to be giving you this information. And I look forward to doing more of these along these lines. Once I get through next week, um, once we get through the 8th, I guess it is, that's going to be the last day. Once we get through that, I'm going to be introducing a series on blending, and I'll just keep coming up with more because I'm really having a good time with this. That said, I do have a closed Facebook group that you're invited to join in on. If you'd like to do so, please email me, tammy@synergessence.com, and I'll include you. It was originally based on, a course, but the fact is that I've been guided to stop selling and just start giving. So again, there's a lot of content over there. You're welcome to join in. I keep it closed so that we can just keep it private, because sometimes when we talk about health issues, it can get a little bit, we just don't want the public being able to find it, right? So that's available to you as well. Um, Today I want to talk about Goldenrod. And the interesting thing is when I look at Goldenrod, I probably said this when I was talking about galbanum. Sometimes I'm even aware these ideas to talk about these oils come up. They just kind of came to my mind, and I just start talking about it. So Goldenrod is not a very popular or a frequently used oil. Um, and as I was thinking about how I've ever used it with folks, I kind of reflected back on the video on Cyprus, where I kind of get into the emotional state of the individual with regards to the the way symptoms are manifesting. Okay, and in some respects, I've done the same thing with Goldenrod. I mean, yes, there are very specific constituents, and those will be noted on the blog, just to kind of keep you up to date. As you see this Wednesday, well, it'll be at least Wednesday, the 1st of May. You may be watching it after that, but what I wanted to say is that the blog has actually slowed down considerably because it has become quite intense. And yes, I am challenging a few of the thought processes out there, and I do respect the fact that we want to maintain our availability or the availability of the essential oils. I don't want to lose access to them. At the same time, if we're going to have them available to us, it makes sense to know how to use them more safely because they do contain chemicals that um, are potentially accentuating our health issues. And keep in mind, there is such a thing to be said for silent but deadly. So, on that note, just that's kind of where I'm taking a lot of this. And it's not because I'm trying to undermine the field of aromatherapy. It's just that it's really given the state of the world that we live in, given the state of our health and the increasing health issues that we're seeing, it makes sense to, if we can include oils into our daily life, it makes sense to have them available to us. At the same time, it also makes sense to know how to use them so they do not compromise our health, because that's not the intention here with the oils. The intention is to improve our health, okay, not compromise it. So, in that note, like I said, going to talk about goldenrod today, and the way I've used it historically has been with anger. Um, I know I've talked about copaiba in the sense that it's very calming, and and when you have that aggressive, outward kind of rage, or just kind of very, there is definitely a reaction when somebody gets angry, and then you have other people who are angry but they completely stuff it. Okay, that would be the one that I talked about with cypress. But in the case of goldenrod, oftentimes it helps is with the liver. Okay, and I think along the lines of Chinese medicine, when we talk about, anger being stored in the liver and the pain that comes as a result of that, oftentimes in the shoulder, especially the right shoulder. So I find that goldenrod is very beneficial for the digestive system, with regards to the liver. But the reason I really like it too is because it supports the elimination process, meaning that it protects the kidneys. So it supports the gallbladder and the liver, and it also supports the kidneys, because as we start to dump toxins, which they're going to be as it's improving the health of the liver, it's they need to be flushed through the lymph system. So it actually works with the liver, the lymph, and the kidneys. That's the reason why I like it. And you want to include it with such things. You could potentially include it with carrot seed oil, because that's also good for the liver, although carrot seed is not recommended with medications. Like I said, goldenrod would do much better without. I mean, it does fine with medications or without. So if that's the kind of anger that you're dealing with, where you're starting to develop pain, or painful, that pain in the gut, more predominantly in the liver, or there's alcohol use going on, excessive alcohol use, the use of goldenrod is also very helpful for that. I've actually taken this into treatment facilities too. Again, it's not one that I use widely, but it is one that is very beneficial along these lines, because it's very streamlined in the way it supports the system. It just kind of really, it works with the energetic body is how I see it, and the liver. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of anything else while I'm looking at you. And honestly, I can't. So that's where I'm going to leave it with that. And I started off the way I did because I really want to emphasize the fact that I'm really here for you to have the best results that we can possibly obtain through the use of the oils. And that's the reason why I'm speaking out the way I am. And I really hope you visit the website too, because like I said, it's very technical and hopefully equally understandable, so that you can begin to implement different changes. And the one on lavender is the one I'm working on right now. As I mentioned, I'm getting really behind on this, but that's just because I'm taking my sweet time with writing everything. And lavender, what I'm doing with this blog is actually comparing the different types of lavender and the chemistry, but I also needed to back up everything that I said to you, because I don't ever want to tell you something that I cannot back up. So gathering my information and in making sure that you have everything that you need to be able to make a better decision with regards to any oil that you're using. All right, you guys take care, and I will see you tomorrow.